So right now we're going to move on to, it looks like we got Nancy Huether, and we all know Nancy, and Kyle Bartfay with Phoscrete. And we're going to give us an update on the AASHTO TSP2 working group updates, including the local agency outreach and innovative technology demonstrations. So please welcome Nancy and Kyle.
Presentation. I just want to take a few minutes to thank the Midwest Partnership for hosting this event. It's really good. Last morning is always a little sparse in here. A lot of people are leaving early and they're getting ready to go, but it's good to see that we have as many people as we do. I think this is a pretty good crowd. I would like to thank the partnership, the planning committee in specific, all of the moderators that have taken on the task of helping us do the moderate these sessions, all of those that came and presented, the vendors that have been here, and all of the attendees. I also want to make sure to thank Darlene and Zach and Todd for all of your work that you do with getting this together. Would not happen without all of you. Sarah, head of the chair currently for another hour of the partnership, and all of her work that she has done. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for hosting us. They've done a wonderful job. Josh Rogers, Dora Alexander. Is Dora still here? I don't. Oh, right here. She's so quiet, I kind of lose her occasionally. But thank you to Josh and Dora for all of the things you've done, particularly for lining up the tech tour yesterday. I think that was an amazing tour. Really well done by Vector and the coordination with you all. So thank you to Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. So please give them a round of applause. I am going to go ahead and get started. We're going to do a quick update on two of the working groups that we have that are very active. And I would not typically be doing the local agency outreach working group update, but none of the other leaders of that group are attending this meeting. So two things. That first of all means that there could be an opportunity for somebody in the Midwest to become more active on that group. It's a really great group, and I do think that the Midwest is one of the areas that benefits a lot from that. We have a lot of local agencies throughout the center. We've tons of farmland, lots of really important bridges. We heard talks about Kentucky and their local bridges and how important those all are. So if there are some of you that would be interested in participating in this work group, please let me know. It's really a great work group. They do a lot of good things. So the work group was set up to provide opportunities to local agencies for training and collaboration on methods and importance of bridge preservation, increasing preservation of local infrastructure assets, providing educational opportunities, and identifying successes in bridge preservation within the local agency. Currently, the co-chairs are Greg Freeman of Quick Bond Polymers and Travis Kinney with David Evans. Travis Kinney was, when this group was started, was still with Oregon DOT. He has since gone, but those two gentlemen donate a lot of time to this working group, and they do a lot of great work. There are 40 plus members currently. They are from, again, all of our partnerships, DOTs, Federal Highway. We are working harder to get LTAPs and NACE, National Association of County Engineers. The LTAPs is Local Transportation Assistance Programs. Those are programs that are set up in every state. Some are more active than others. Pat Connor was here from the Indiana LTAP, and he is very active in this group. And I was going to try and get him to do this update, but he left early. Imagine that. So, but they're very active in this, and sometimes that we have a challenge connecting with local agencies, and we've heard that from one of our local agency attendees. But the more that we're able to reach out and connect with those groups and let them know that we are here and we have resources, that's really what this is all about. And we all know that local agencies have one of our more challenging bridge preservation issues. They've got lots of bridges. They're small bridges, a lot of them, but they're not always in great shape. And how do they maintain them? And there's not a lot of funds. So that's really the gist of this whole this working group and why it was set up. Currently, there is a bridge preservation training that that Travis and Greg do primarily on their own. It's a webinar training. It's free training. It's I think it's about a half-day training, and they are willing to do this training for any local agencies that would like to do it. So far, these are different states that they have worked through. Some of these are multi-state trainings, but just this year they've trained in 3. They've done 2 trainings, Iowa, Arkansas, and they're working with Virginia right now to get theirs set up to complete. This is a document that was published. It was started with a survey that was done by a local agency, prioritizing preservation for locally owned bridges. They did this large survey, did a lot of follow-up. They compiled the results, and it took quite a while for Federal Highway to approve the document and get it published, but they did that earlier this year, pretty recently. There's a link to this. It's got some great information about what some of the different local agencies are doing and ideas for things that you can do. Again, those are all available on the TSP2 website. I just went in this morning. There's a local agency link on the front page. If you click on that, that document is linked within that page. I'm going to highlight 2 very quickly. Michigan Local Agency Preservation, they have developed a fairly active local agency preservation program. Jason DeRuver, who was here because he presented earlier, and I think he just stepped out. But he's been active. He was one of the first very active people in this work group, and they worked to develop that. And the Indiana local agencies have a fairly active preservation program also. And again, Pat Connor's in Indiana, and I think that probably has something to do with that. But they are always out there as resources to help you if you are interested. Last thing I'm going to talk about is an industry demo rodeo. This is an idea that was developed. It was kind of started with local agency, I think, and then with ITD. And so this is my segue to the ITD, or Industry Innovative Technology Demonstration Working Group. But looking at trying to start some demos, similar if you've ever been to a national conference, we do like the outdoor demos. And we have a number of vendors, suppliers that will come and actually demonstrate their products. You can try a lot of those, and it's a great thing. It takes a lot of coordination and a lot of effort, a lot of planning, but it is it's a really great thing. And so the idea was maybe this would really benefit some of the local agencies if we could do some of this. So we know there's a lot of we know that there is a lot of interest from industry, and we've received that. Now NCPP has agreed to help with facilitating and setting up these demos. It'll take a little bit more coordination, but what we're looking for now is ways and places that we could possibly do a demo. So if you have ideas of, existing events or things where we could, on a smaller scale with 1 or maybe 2, industry members, that something that would be useful for you to demonstrate, or so if you have ideas of places where we could do these, that's really kind of where we're at now. So if you do, let me know, let Kyle know. And now I am going to let Kyle talk about the Innovative Technology Demonstration Working Group.
Like Nancy said, my name's Kyle. I'm with Phoscrete, and like Nancy, I was kind of voluntold to do this presentation. The chair of this group is Brian Mintz, the GM of Phoscrete. He started this back in 2014. Right now we have about 20 members, currently have 11 innovative programs underway, but again, we're always looking for more. So if you guys, from an industry perspective, have something innovative you think would be beneficial to the agencies, please let me know, let Nancy know. On the other side, if this is probably one of the more industry-driven working groups, so we're always looking for more agencies to work with to help kind of prove and vet out some of these innovative technologies and demonstrations. But before we get into some of the updates and specifics of the ITD working group, I kind of want to talk about industry as a whole, and specifically in the construction industry and how it stacks up against some other major industries to provide a little context for why we started this. So a common phrase that we often hear is that if it's not broke, don't fix it. But I find that phrase particularly ironic in this room because all the bridges that are overseen are all slowly breaking. So the main reason we're here this week is to share ideas and methods for how to slow down the breaking even if they aren't totally broken, which is another way is how we can best preserve them. So the more accurate phrase is probably, if it's not broke, let's figure out how we can keep it that way. But of course it doesn't flow off the tongue quite as well. The other problem is, what this graphic is showing is that it's true, we are all busy. What we're currently doing probably isn't broken, but what I'm here to ask today is, are there better ways to do things? And if so, how can we make sure that they are actually working, which is where ITD comes in. But again, a little more perspective on kind of the growth with construction industry and compared to other major industries is, of course, there's been a lot of innovative ideas and products introduced over the years, but the truth is that the work that is needed to be done on the infrastructure, specifically on our bridges, has significantly outgrown the pace of innovations used to address this work. To compound the problem, the construction industry as a whole has had very minimal innovative improvements compared to many other major industries. The average increase in production was about 50% improvement for most major industries. So industries like electronics, agricultural, manufacturing are all 200% or higher. But on the flip side, construction has only about a 15% improvement. So, of course, this concerned some people, so they studied to why this was happening. And the reason was lower margins. Lower margins, do not promote innovation, but industries with higher margin had a bigger incentive to put more money in innovation to get things done quicker. So, what does this mean for the bottom line? It affects how productive a labor force can be in a given industry. Again, this graph shows, if you can see it, it looks a little smaller than I thought it was going to be. This graph shows labor productivity growth. Here it assumes that the starting point in 1995, where each labor hour worked, is $100. So in 19 years, the economy gross labor per hour jumped up to about $170. Again, industries like manufacturing jumped all the way up to $196, but the construction only had $21 increase in those same 19 years, which is obviously well below the average total improvement for the economy. This minimal jump is also compounded with the labor shortage I'm sure we're all experiencing in one way or the other. So even with a surplus of available construction jobs, it doesn't seem that the construction industry is getting the best bang for its buck. Of course, there's a lot of factors for this, considering that there tends to be a lot of downtime in our industry, such as mobilization, lane closures, cure time, repeat repairs, or even lack of automation compared to other industries like manufacturing, of course. But of course, finding ways to improve productivity per hour worked is something that innovation can certainly help with. So it's a little bit of a shameless plug. When I first saw this, I actually stole this from Mario from Alchemco, but I thought about concrete repair. One thing that we always preach at Phoscrete is that the speed at which you can get repairs done. So either allow you to get more work done in a given lane closure, or even allow you to get off the road quicker, rather than waiting for the concrete to cure. But again, that's just one small example of how we can improve the productivity of labor hours. So with a little more context, I'll ask again, are there better ways to do things? And if that answer is yes, how do we identify these better ways and make sure that they're actually working? Now I'm finally going to get to the ITD group. The short answer is, that's a pretty big gap to overcome between some of the other major industries, but I do know that we need to start taking steps in the right direction to not only promote innovation, but also provide a platform for these innovative ideas and products to get independently tested, vetted, and tracked so they can be efficiently verified across a wide range of states, applications, and environments seen around the country. Again, this is why the ITD working group was created. The goal of this group is a three-pronged approach which ties everyone in this room one way or the other. which is to provide a clear path to encourage and promote innovative technologies from industry that lead to field demonstrations with agencies and that are overseen by technical consultants, consulting engineers, academia, and of course AASHTO and TSP2. These three triangles lead to the ITD experience that we hope to build on and present at conferences like this and post online to share the combined experience about its progress, including the good, the bad, and the ugly outcomes. So, speaking of ugly, we have a good amount of agency people here. How many people from agency have a bridge deck that looks something like this? Everyone has a horror story. I call it bubblegum bridges. Not only does this not look good for the public, but it seems like very little was learned. And just so you know, this is not from any states in this region. But anyway, this doesn't only not only look good for the public, but it seems like very little is learned from patching this bridge deck because the DOT has no idea what products are working or not working. This is what we're trying to avoid, or at the very least, learn from a faster path to the best solutions. So this is basically the problem statement of ITD. I realize you can all read it, but I'm just going to read it anyway because I think it's worth stating here. So a faster path to the best solutions. Because of all the complexities and risks involved with bringing new products and services into acceptance and used by states, ITD offers a faster path to demonstrate, observe, document, and share both successes and failures of innovative technologies. ITD helps industry speed up the best solutions to market and saves the agencies the cost of wasted time, resources on unsuccessful technologies. So again, we're trying to make sure that everything that we have is vetted and we show the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that way you know that the data that you're seeing is not a case study. Typically a manufacturer that uses a case study is only going to use the best case studies. But this is going to promote the performance, how it's installed from an independent perspective. So it's not me saying it's the best thing since sliced bread. I'm going to run through these fairly quickly here and give an update. Every one I'm going to mention here has a booth here, or at least had a booth here if they haven't packed up already. So feel free to reach out to me, Nancy, or any one of these industry partners if you're interested in learning more, setting up a demonstration, or just kind of seeing if it's something that can add value for, for your work. So first up is Phoscrete's magnesium phosphate cement products. This was actually the pilot product back in 2014. And there's two types of innovation I should have mentioned earlier. There's incremental, which is a slight improvement over a method that's already being done. And then there's a, what's the word I'm looking for? A large-scale improvement where it kind of changes how work is done. So this is an incremental innovation that Phoscrete has for expansion joint headers. It has the ability to accept seals or open up to traffic as soon as 30 minutes after the last pour for a done-in-one lane closure full expansion joint repair. This particular one was done in my home state, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on one of the busiest areas in Fort Lauderdale on 595. They are able to do 3 lanes of traffic. They were able to install the seal and do the header all in one lane closure, and they didn't need to go back to it. This, I believe, is a 30-day inspection of that particular install. Another potential disruptive innovation, that's what I was looking for, disruptive innovation, is that Phoscrete has the ability to work in sub-freezing temperatures without sacrificing quality of repair and or extending lane closure times. The MALP formulation of our material, magnesium aluminum liquid phosphate, has a liquid activator that has a negative 20-degree freezing point. This particular install was done with Massachusetts back in 2014 in 30-degree weather, and then the picture on the right is the, I guess, 4-year inspection, so it's still looking strong. Another potential disruptive innovation is that Phoscrete stops corrosion on contact with rebar without the need to sandblast and or treat it. This was actually done in Oklahoma on the Pack Saddle Bridge under Walt Peters. He's here in the audience. We monitored this. We used 47 pails of Phoscrete VO. There's no sandblasting involved. The Oklahoma DOT maintenance crew performed this installation. We've been monitoring it ever since. This was done in 2017, and we've been back even since before 2019. So it's still performing well. It's still bonded. There's no evidence of rust or corrosion, but there were some small hairline cracking that was recently observed. But again, the material seems to be bonded, and that's, we want to promote everything, both the good, the bad, and the ugly. But it still seems to be performing very well. Next up is Pore Shield, which is a soybean oil-based treatment that fills the concrete pore structure to make it hydrophobic and protects the concrete for at least 10 years. The potential incremental innovation here is that it's environmentally safe, non-hazardous material that's easy to apply to improve concrete durability without negatively affecting the concrete in any way. Again, we continue to learn about these technologies. So beyond pavement joints and bridge decks, salt storage buildings have been identified as an aggressive environment for concrete where Pore Shield offers a significant extension of service life with a minimal cost. The potential breakthrough innovation here is that PoreShield is not a sealant or a coating. It works below the surface. Instead of a coating surface, PoreShield fills the concrete's pores with a viscous hydrophobic material, leaving no film on the surface. PoreShield has a lower surface tension than water, so combined with a higher viscosity, allowing it to make its way into the pores ahead of water, which significantly improves the freeze-thaw and salt scaling. You can see the fluorescent dye in the pore network, and this goes about close to an inch deep, and again, it doesn't stay on the surface, it absorbs in, there's no reaction. One of the cool things that came up with ITD, and we're always trying to improve our products and methods, is that when PoreShield presented on the durability capabilities, Phoscrete was trying to find ways to improve our salt scaling durability over time, and especially in harsh climates like Minnesota, Maine, and even freeze-thaw cycles like here in Kentucky. We tested PoreShield as the admixture to Phoscrete. We were surprised to learn that adding the soybean oil component did not impact bond or compressive strength, and it reduced our already low shrinkage numbers, and it also made it a little bit easier to work with. So we found that over the years that it's been really improving our salt scaling and freeze-thaw cycles for adding life to the surface repairs. Next up is Jet Filter, which has an innovative solution to keep weep holes from clogging. Traditional, and the Jet Filter is here too. Traditional behind-the-wall drainage systems fail over time due to geotextile clogging, which increase hydrostatic pressure, or tearing that will allow backfill or soil leaching. Drainage failure results in deterioration of earth retaining structures, and repair costs can be prohibitive. So Jet Filter incrementally improved on this approach with internal improvements and unique application requests that are folded into the product line. Prevents backflow, optional geotextiles, extended drainage path, and vermin control. Now, the breakthrough innovation that this led to is it extended the structure service life with a serviceable weep hole. It quickly and inexpensively preserves existing infrastructure by restoring failed drainage systems. Serviceability ensures drainage systems perform at peak output. The maintainable weep hole products also provide primary drainage for new or replacement training structures. So after this installation, the water table and the backfill lowered to the level installed of the Jet Filters. This reduced leaching, resulting in drying walls and ceilings in just a few days. Next up is TruTech Bridge, has an innovative clear product, clear forms for concrete placement. This is pretty interesting. So the product here is transparent stay-in-place forms. This has all the construction benefits associated with SIP forms, speed and safety, but with the added ability to inspect the deck for maintenance preservation over time, which allows owners to get the most out of their investment. The next product that they have is a transparent protective shield and false decking. This is another incremental improvement or innovation. This has reduced the risk to people and property, as well as inspectors, through the use of transparent false decking. As a cost-effective alternative to lumber or metal mesh panels, transparent panels require less labor on site. They do not rot or deteriorate in the bridge environment, and they allow owners to scope out the deck from below, identifying any risks to the public. Here you can see you can inspect about 75% of the deck underside without removing those panels. I think we have two more here. The next one up is advanced chemical technologies, the use of silanes. This is the deck seal system, The potential breakthrough innovation is that this is a system using two compatible technologies to extend the service life of bridge decks. A silane application followed by a compatible epoxy healer sealer waterproofs and fills cracks with a single lane closure. This combination promotes the depth of penetration in the silane of upwards of 3/4 of an inch, which will protect the rebar for years. Independent testing proves that this combination outperforms either system by themselves. And another incremental innovation that they did here is actually broadcasting sand or aggregate, which helps skid resistance and open up the traffic even sooner. And last but not least is Alchemco, which is demonstrating an innovative product that protects concrete by forming a gel inside the concrete matrix. Their booth is actually right next to mine where the caveman is, so feel free to come say hi to Mario. The Bridge Deck product line offers 3 different unique spray-applied waterproofing systems, which protecting bridges for up to 25 years before reapplication is required. So the potential breakthrough innovation here is that it's fast and easy. It's a fast and easy application, which equates to very short lane closure times because it dries within hours. The portable water certification means it's environmentally safe and contains no VOCs and can be applied by either trained contractors or maintenance personnel. So a potential incremental innovation here is that it's a cost-effective long-term method for waterproofing, protecting bridges, structures for decades, not just years. There's a 45-year global track record, and the subsurface gel forming technology cannot deteriorate, wear off, or be physically damaged because it works inside the concrete. They have a menu of waterproofing systems that fit any budget requirements while providing a single source responsibility. So again, if anyone is interested in learning more about these products or setting up a demonstration, we're always looking to build on the catalog, so there's a bigger sample size for data to look at and see what might add value for your work. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.